We're currently living in a terrifyingly fast world. Our attention spans are shrinking, and as you know, when you log into social media, you're bombarded with videos that are just seconds long, and we have a millisecond to catch someone's attention. Now, what does this mean when it comes to being an artist? Well, I'm about to have a little bit of a tough conversation with all of us, and myself included. When we signed up to become artists, we deep down knew that this is a long game. To be a creator, it takes years to develop our voice, our skill level, and not to mention our business. But unfortunately, in this day in society, if something doesn't work in 30 days, it's deemed a failure. And we need to talk about this because it's extremely harmful and toxic to both our art and our mental health. I'm going to read a few stats that I have found on Google to support this episode. In 2025, recent studies on digital behavior showed that the average human attention span on a piece of content has dropped to just 8 seconds. That is literally less than a goldfish. And there's so many other facts that we don't even want to get into. Reading rates are dropping. People are not engaging in more analog activities as much as they used to. And so that's a whole other cultural conversation that we can't tackle on our own. It has to be a societal shift. But what we can talk about is, what does this mean for our ambitions as creatives, as artists, as makers, right? And if you're anything like me, you know you're here to have a deeper purpose than just posting a reel and having it disappear within 2 days, right? You want something that lasts. And whether you want something that lasts a lifetime or for centuries, everyone's idea of purpose is completely different. You know, I have a dear friend who wants to live her life fully while she's on this earth, and she doesn't care if her work is in museums or private collections. She wants to make the most of her time here. And she's very ambitious. She works really, really hard, but she doesn't really care about the longevity beyond her lifetime. But I have other friends who have a really deep purpose where their mission is to impact millions of people way after they're gone, whether it's through books or their mentorship or their artwork or music, right? So everyone is different, but we can all agree that whether it's a lifetime or centuries after we're gone, that is a lot longer than what our current society is pressuring us to focus on, right? And so as we ease into a new season of our practice, of our ambitions, maybe if you're listening to this, you are currently setting goals for the year ahead or revisiting old goals. And for me, it's really important to zoom out and to really come at my goals from a higher vantage point and a broader perspective. I am guilty of also being short-sighted sometimes, and many of us are, and it's not our fault because we're literally showed videos and documentaries of people who became essentially overnight successes, overnight billionaires. They built an AI company in 6 months and got crazy amounts of funding. You know, we hear this information all the time, so it's really not a surprise, but it does get embedded and it does start to influence the way that we're approaching our creativity and our work, right? You may have heard of the 10,000 hour rule, which I don't completely agree with, but there is merit to it, where essentially if you practice any skill or craft for over 10,000 hours, you become a master at it, right? But that seems to actually be really missing from our society, and that is extremely alarming. Now, you may also be familiar with the incredible story of the Swedish painter Hilma Klint, who actually didn't exhibit her work for decades until after her death. Part of it was, as I began to study her life and her journey, is that people didn't understand her work. And because she realized this early on, she actually chose to not show it, and she had specific instructions on when to show the work and how. Now, you can read about her story. There's tons of books and lectures available even here on YouTube. But my point is that the greats that often motivate, inspire us, and drive us to be the best artists or creators that we could possibly be have a bigger and more generous timeline for their craft. So that is a wake-up call for all of us artists. Whether you're a painter, musician, or collage artist, we often put pressure to get results really, really quickly. And even at the time of recording this, I've been doing this for about 15 years, and I've been self-employed for over 10 years coming up. And the thing is that I'm still feeling like a beginner. I still feel like I have so much to learn. I still feel like my best work is ahead of me. And I want to talk about this when it comes to the way that we approach sales and growing our careers and growing our business in the coming years. Now, one thing I will say, I am very ambitious, just like you, I'm sure, if you're listening. And of course, we all need to make money and pay the bills. That's a given. But sometimes we put a lot of pressure on our artwork or specific creative ideas to get us results faster than is there time, essentially. And so I recently sold a large painting, which I made about 3 years ago. And at the time, it was a new body of work for me. I have not painted this subject matter. It was more nature versus what I was known for in my interiors at the time. And so I was really grateful. My friend Victoria had me in a show in Tribeca in New York City. It was awesome. And the paintings didn't sell. One of them sold later that year. And 3 years later, the second one from that first initial series sold. And so I wanted to share that with you because had I given up and said, this was a massive failure, this was a disaster, I should have never made those paintings, I should have just stuck with what's comfortable, that would have been such a disservice to both my skill level and my growth as an artist, to my collector who happened to resonate with the painting and wanted to purchase it. And it also taught me to not be so short-sighted when it comes to the development of my art and trusting that in time, my collectors will catch up, or I'll find new collectors that resonate with that specific type of work. And this also goes to say, for those of you who might be just starting out, maybe you started painting a few years ago and learning how to sell your artwork, and maybe as you put out your work, it feels clunky, it feels hard, it feels like people aren't buying your more expensive, bigger pieces yet. And this is where most people quit. They think, oh, people only want my little more affordable things, or only friends and family are buying my work. And even though, of course, we all need to pay the bills and make money, like I said, it's really important that we zoom out and we see our life from a bird's eye view and a higher vantage point, because a few years is nothing in the grand scheme of our life. You know, there's so many things that didn't happen at the beginning of my career that are happening now. But if I judged my progress or my growth based on those earlier years, or even years where I started a new type of work, I would not be here today, right? Because when I made those 2 big landscape paintings, I ended up creating more landscapes over those next 3 years that have went on to be exhibited in Spain and sold across the world. And I'm so happy that I didn't quit just because I didn't get an instant result. So this is a bit of a tough love / gut check episode, but I really want us to think about how we want our whole career to look like at the end of our life. Did we want to remember our career being worried or constantly disappointed that something didn't sell instantly, or we didn't have a sellout booth at an art fair or an art show? No, we really want to know that we did our best. We listened to our intuition. We connected with our soul or spirit or whatever your spirituality is when it comes to your creativity. And we gave our art an honest shot. We knew that we were meant to do it, and we trusted the process, and we took the pressure off the timeline. Ironically, when you take the pressure off the timeline, things happen quickly. Why? Well, I believe we just create a lot of negative energy and resistance and pressure on a certain outcome. And when we're enjoying ourselves, for example, when I'm making art, or when I am out in nature or running or spending time with loved ones or reading a book, I lose track of time and I'm in that flow state. And when I'm in that flow state, everything happens really quickly, right? And that energy is also magnetic. Have you ever seen someone who's really inspired or lit up or in the flow? They're magnetic, right? So I'm speaking to myself as much as I'm speaking to you, and that is to trust that whatever vision that you have for your life is happening. It might not happen the way that you expect it to. You might have some detours, you might have some bumps on the road. We all do. The journey is not linear or smooth, but if we give our work an honest shot and take this urgency out of it, magical things are going to happen. So my invitation is for you to write a big vision for your life. What kind of art do you want to make? What kind of prices do you want to sell it for, right? It's okay to dream big. Even if it's not happening yet, you have to set your GPS to where you're going, right? What kind of galleries do you want to work with, or if you want to be independent? What kind of people do you want to interact with? What kind of responses do you want to hear about your work? Write out a big vision for your life and then start making a plan and showing up and making that type of work. And look, I come from an immigrant family, so I know that it's tough sometimes to trust when you also have big bills, which is why I'm always such an advocate for having multiple income streams, whether it's your day job or side gig, maybe do design work on the side or commissions or you sell prints. Sometimes we need to do what we gotta do in order to make space and get the resources needed to make our souls work, which will then eventually pay off. I do believe whether it's financially or emotionally or in the way of a career growth, when we listen to our intuition and make the work that's been planted on our heart, it always pays off. I hope that this was helpful. Let me know your thoughts in the comments or send me an email at info@createmagazine.com. I would love to hear from you. And I'm also curious, what are you working on this year? What is your big ambitious body of work or painting or collage or photography that you're gonna give yourself a chance? And what pressure or urgency are you letting go of? Thanks so much for watching, and I'll catch you on the next episode.